Thank you very much. My name is Senator Wahome, Wamatinga, Nyeri County, and I have this simple message to the leader of the opposition, Raila Odinga. There is no way Raila is going to come and demand for negotiation. He must have constitutional mandate allowing him to do that in the first place. If he wants to have any dialogue, first of all, he must start by accepting that there is a legitimate, constitutionally put in place government led by none other but Dr. William Samoei Ruto. That is the minimum that he should start. And again, I'm saying the approach that the president suggested of parliamentary and bipartisan dialogue, that is the right way. That is what we've been doing all the time. We've been sitting in parliament, we've been discussing motions, we've been discussing bills, we've been discussing government business, and the opposition has the opportunity to voice and to air their views, including opposing what they think is not supposed to be happening. Therefore, we want to say this: we had an election on 8th August. We won fair and square. They went to the Supreme Court, challenged the decision of the voters, and the Supreme Court decided. And according to the Kenyan Constitution, you have two instances. One, you go to the ballot. If you are not satisfied, you go to the Constitutional Court. He did that. A judgment was delivered, and it is said that the election were validly conducted and the win by William Samoei Ruto was valid. Therefore, we are asking Raila Odinga, if you are now coming and placing to have an equivalent of national accord, this country is not fighting. If anything, it is you who have not accepted the election outcome. Therefore, the challenge to him, he must stand up the occasion, become a nationalist, and admit that there was election. However, we are saying in any democratic space, people can converse, people can talk, people can have a conversation about the economic situation that is facing Kenya like any other part of the world. We have a challenge of the dollars that are not available because the Americans are trying to mop up their dollars. We have a situation whereby we've been faced a drought that we've not had the last 40 years. And therefore, it is important for us to sit down as readers and say, moving forward, what do we need to do? We need to start talking about strategic food reserves. We need to start talking about empowering our people so that we move from the rain-fed farming into irrigation-fed farming. That is the kind of dialogue that we would want to have. However, in the interest of the national unity, we are saying this. Raila Odinga, he can select a group of parliamentarians, we meet in parliament, we discuss the things that need to be done. But even before we do that, we need to say, in the same principle of the polluter pays, we are going to also put it on the table when they come and call for demonstrations and people's property are damaged. Just the same way we use the principle of polluter pays, he who pays the piper must call the tune. And again, when you call the tune, you must be prepared to pay for the damage that goes with it. And we are saying now, these are some of the things. And we've looked at the possibility and we've said, according to the Political Parties Act, every party that has members in parliament is supposed to get some money from the government. And we are saying against this money that the Azimio coalition is supposed to get, we should offset the damages that were caused to people's property and pay them off. They get the balance. Because there is no way you are going to tell people, come on the street, they damage people's property, and then you walk scot-free, and then you come later and say, now we want to have dialogue. We are saying yes. We are open to that dialogue we are talking about, but then only with constitutionally mandated leaders who can sit down, and those are elected members of parliament. Whether they want to sit outside the parliament, that's a different case altogether. The parliament has the powers to convert any place, any location in this country, even outside this country, into a parliamentary sitting if, because the standing orders so allow, if the speakers may allow that. Therefore, we are saying, bring the parliamentarians, let's have a candid discussion, let's discuss moving forward, but within the realms of the Constitution of Kenya and within the law. Okay. What we also want to tell Raila Odinga, we know that he was a handshake brother in the last regime. We know the havoc that was caused to this economy. We know that we are here where we are because a lot of illegal and actually a lot of underhand deals were done with the Jubilee government, and there is no way that he's going to have that in this government. And we from the Mount Kenya region, and we made that very, very clear to the Deputy President yesterday in the Sunday service that we attended, we are not supporting any handshake. And should it happen, in the most unlikely event that it is going to happen, we are going to oppose it with the strongest terms possible. And therefore we are saying dialogue, yes, within the framework that is allowed by the law, but we are now saying no handshake, no nusumkate, because if we do that, then it will beat the logic of having elections every 5 years, only for someone to come and say that he wants half of the government. And this is not any other person. He did it with Moi, he did it with Kibaki, he did it with Uhuru. We are saying he's not going to do with Kenya Kwanza government, and that one is very, very, very clear in our minds.
Okay. Yeah. So, Senator, lastly,